following public service announcement is for all parents with children diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Is your child extremely hyperactive? Does your child have difficulty focusing on tasks or maintaining focus during homework time? Does your child have a hard time falling asleep at night? Have you noticed your child experiencing memory impairments or difficulty retaining information? Does your child display impulsive behaviors? Have you observed your child experiencing difficulties socializing with other children? If you have answered yes to several of the following, we may have the treatment plan for you. Our treatment plan focuses on children ages 5 through 13 that are diagnosed with ADHD.
Children with ADHD often display the following: hyperactivity, trouble focusing on tasks, difficulty sleeping, difficulty in school, memory impairments and trouble with retaining information, and lack of impulse control. They are at risk in the following areas: poor school performance, socialization and management of relationships, including family and friends, and difficulties with internalizing symptoms such as anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and externalizing symptoms such as behavioral conduct, early experimentation, and abuse of substances.
Our frame of reference for this treatment plan is the cognitive behavioral therapy, otherwise known as CBT. CBT treatment strategies focus on both cognitive and behavioral issues. CBT treatment strategies include play therapy, massage therapy, and reading therapy in an occupational therapy setting. The purpose of these strategies in relation to occupational therapy is to help pediatrics ages 5 to 13 diagnosed with ADHD be able to cope with and manage their symptoms in order to be able to maximally engage in academics and social participations along with their daily occupations.
The assessment tool we are using is called the Assessment of Motor and Process Skills, abbreviated AMPS. This tool is a one-page observational assessment that measures the performance of ADL motor and ADL process skills. We chose this assessment tool because it allows the therapist to assess behaviors of children with ADHD and their cognitive process during ADL tasks.
Our treatment plan is 5 groups therapy sessions that will meet 1 time per week for 5 weeks. Each session is approximately 45 to 60 minutes long. The first group's topic will be on education. The therapist will educate the children about ADHD by reading them a book called The Kangaroo Who Couldn't Sit Still. This is an educational story found from therapistaid.com about a kangaroo who has ADHD. The children will draw kangaroos while listening to the story. They will learn about the characteristics of ADHD, how it relates to them, and strategies on how to develop healthy coping strategies.
For play therapy, we chose a fantasy play activity in which each child got to choose 1 stuffed animal and give it a name and 1 special superpower. The instructor would then give members a situation. For example, the room has been overrun by evil bugs, and the members would have to use their stuffed animals and their superpowers to figure out a way to deal with the situation, while also collaborating with other members in the group and staying on task.
The third group therapy session will be massage therapy led by an OT. The purpose of this group is to teach adolescents about the benefits of self-massage techniques and how this applies to managing their ADHD. After a brief warm-up, adolescents will be instructed by the therapist on how to use a tennis ball and a foam roller to reduce tension in muscles in the neck, back, and lower extremities. After participating in the activity for about 15 minutes, Adolescents will be asked what they do normally to help them relax and concentrate when they are feeling hyper. They will then discuss how they felt after completing the self-massage routine. The therapist will then explain how massage therapy can be incorporated into their daily routines as a means of managing ADHD symptoms.
The fourth session will focus on reading. Members will participate in a game called Read and Roll, where they will read a short story aloud to their peers. Members will sit in a circle and take turns rolling a dice that will indicate the amount of sentences they will read aloud from the book. Any unknown word will be written down on a whiteboard to revisit later on as a group. Once the story is complete, members will be asked to share their understanding of the story and how they felt reading aloud to their peers. The group will then collaborate on reviewing the unknown words written down on the whiteboard. The purpose of this activity is to provide a platform for members to gain comfortability reading aloud and to practice reading and comprehension in a teamwork format.
For reflection, the instructor will hand out pieces of paper that have comic strip panels on them. Each child will write on a piece of paper a time where they felt overwhelmed at school and what they did to cope with the situation. Then they will reflect on the situation by drawing pictures in the comic strip panels depicting the situation they wrote about. The long-term goal is that the client will complete a 5-step task independently 2 times a week for 30 minutes by the end of 5 weeks. The short-term goals are: the client will participate in a group activity at school with minimal verbal cues 2 times a week for 30 minutes by the end of 2 weeks. And the client will be able to read 1 chapter, or 5 pages, with minimal verbal redirection cues 2 times a week for 20 minutes by the end of 2 weeks.
We hope that this plan will work for you. If you have any questions or concerns, please refer to our references.